Happy New Year's and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I want to go over a Fortnite stuttering problem that continues to plague the game. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is not a new problem. It's been in the game in chapter 2 and chapter 1. I thought the Unreal Engine 5 would fix the issue, but it has not really done anything really except for make it worse on old hardware. It is very inconsistent and it's very noticeable in stacked lobbies, and it's one of the main reasons why pros switch from 240Hz to 360. 360Hz is actually very usable normally if you're playing a game that's not stuttery, because the PCs can handle it, but the 0.1% lows and 1% lows are absolutely terrible in this game, which makes it impossible to use 360Hz. Now there are some minimum specs to reduce the effects drastically. It's not in the Epic Games store or anything, but these are ones that I've found with my testing. So you want at least 4 cores and 4 threads. 8 threads would be nice. So if you want to know how many cores you have, you just have to go down to the search bar and type in Task Manager. So then it'll pop up. It popped up on my other monitor for some reason, and as you can come see here, now obviously it'll be like this on fewer details. You come down and hit more details. I just want to full screen this for you guys. Go to performance, and when you click on CPU, it'll tell you what your CPU is on the top right, and as you can see here, it says cores is 6. Now for threads, it would be logical processor, so I have 12 threads as you can see, and this is how you check how many cores you have. Now the next thing that is needed to reduce the stuttering is to have 16 gigabytes of RAM. So we're here in the task manager again, as you can see, at 16. But more importantly, you want it to have 2 or more of your slots taken, because if you have 1 slot, then your 16 gigabytes of RAM will have almost no effect. It's better to have 8 gigs if you have 2 slots than one 16 stick. Now the last thing to reduce the stuttering is to make sure that your GPU has a minimum of 6 gigabytes of VRAM. Now note, on Task Manager it is a dedicated GPU memory usage, not shared GPU memory usage, as this is something else. You want at least 4. I have 6 because I have an RTX 2060. So you have the minimum specs and you're on performance mode and you've capped your FPS and wondering why it's still a bit stuttery. So here's another one for you. Get off the hard drive, get on the SSD. As you can see, this is an SSD, this is the hard drive. The hard drives are good for open world games, but for games like Fortnite, a hard drive is not very good. So I'll give you some free ones first, and then the paid ones will come up later. So the first one is performance mode, and this is a no-brainer if you want to reduce stuttering. DX11 and DX12 are way too inconsistent and stutter way too much, so I highly recommend you on performance mode, and from whichever one you want to pick, that's personally up to you. The next one is capping your FPS. If your FPS is on unlimited, you will always have stuttering, so make sure you're capping your FPS. And if you're not capping your FPS, then I don't know what you're doing. Now for these last two, you kind of need to know what you're doing, and I wouldn't really recommend a very beginner to do these, and that's overclocking your CPU, your RAM or GPU, and optimizing your PC and Windows files. So I personally don't do this, but if you know what you're doing, you can easily go into your BIOS and change things up, or go to MSI Afterburner, and it'll make your game much better. With the paid ones, I'm going to go cheapest first. So the first ones are PC fans, case, and CPU fans. They bring down the overall temperature of your PC, allowing your CPU or your GPU to hit higher frequencies, giving you more FPS and smoother FPS. Then there's faster RAM kit, because if you don't want to overclock your RAM, just buy a faster kit and then you'll get much smoother and more FPS. No, it is much better on AMD than Intel again, because Intel doesn't really utilize RAM as heavy as AMD does. And then obviously you can always just upgrade your CPU. Fortnite is a CPU intensive game, so if you really want instant performance, do not upgrade your GPU, upgrade your CPU. And then the last one is your GPU, because GPU is not very heavily utilized in Fortnite. You don't really need a very good one. I would suggest you get your CPU, and especially now with the GPU shortage, it is not worth getting one. Just stick with the CPU or the RAM or the case fans or case or PC fans. Now I just want to add that if you're on AMD, your RAM speeds are better when they're much higher compared to Intel, so your speeds will make a huge difference in your stuttering. But if you're on Intel, I guess 2133 will be fine for you, but on AMD it is very important that you at least make sure you're running your RAM at your highest speeds. Now it's important to know that this will not remove stuttering because this is an issue on Epic's side, but this video is there to help people who are having issues with stuttering. If you reach the end, I'd like to thank you for going all this way. Please drop a like and help me out as much as you can, and I hope you have a wonderful day.